I'm really excited tonight because we are joined by currently ranked #1 contender in the world for Bellator MMA from Northern Ireland, Leah the Curse McCourt. Leah, I already told you I'm obsessed with your accent. I'm so sad. Yeah, like it's kind of, you don't really know if you have an accent because it's you, but just give me a brief before we get into all the stuff we want to talk to you about. What's the vibe over there in Ireland on an American accent? Where do we rank? Where do we stack up?
It depends. We do a lot of imitations, but it depends what area of America you're from.
Wait, can you do your imitation? Let me hear.
No, I can't do.
Wait, I'll tell you. I'll do my Irish imitation. Ready? Sort of like, little Tiger was here with us very recently and we loved him very much. Little Tiger. Do I sound like I'm from Ireland? No?
From Dublin, not Belfast.
Do you know why? Because that's the impression of someone I know who actually is from that area. That's so funny. That's how she talked, and I can mimic her very well. I digress. We'll get to the real business. We're not offended that the American accent is probably not the most favorite in the world. There's a lot of cool ones out there. You're the second female MMA fighter we've ever had on, and I love it. I think it's so cool. Michelle Waterson-Gomez from the UFC, and now, of course, you. How does a girl find herself competing in mixed martial arts? I mean, I think that you're a badass. You're gorgeous, obviously. How did you get into all of this? How'd you end up here?
I think you have to be a little bit crazy. But I actually, my dad had 3 daughters, and from when we were younger, he wanted us to learn how to defend ourselves. So I started off in judo as a child, and I've always loved watching martial arts. I've loved the Olympics, and I love MMA because it is all the different aspects of martial arts. It's not just boxing or wrestling, and you can put everything together, and that's why I became so obsessed with it. But I actually used to be a horse rider. I had horses. I did dressage, shoe jumping, and I loved doing it. It was like my passion. I wanted to be a professional horse rider. I did do that. I rode other people's horses, and then actually developed an allergy to horses. So
no.
I had my own stables and horses, and had to step away from that. And I loved, obviously judo, and just kind of fell into MMA after I had my daughter.
Well, okay, I want to ask you about your daughter in a second, but what's really funny, so I grew up riding horses. I love horses. I honestly don't have enough time right now, Leah, to ride, and as people who are equestrians know, that takes up a lot of your time. Yeah. Also a very expensive sport. My husband found out shortly after we met, and he was like, why don't you get back into riding? I was like, you sure you want me to do this? But just the act, when you love horses, like I know you must the same way I do, just to be in the presence of horse and actually the smell of horse. I know it's so weird. I love it, but now you're allergic to it.
I know. And do you know what? After my last fight was in San Diego in October, and my friend Anna Buffini, she's an Olympic dressage rider from America, so we went to her ranch in Del Mar, and I was able to ride her like her horses are like American national champions, and I was like, this is like, she's living my dream. And I was there like an hour and came out in rash everywhere, and came out in hives, and I had to just get off them. But that was my dream as a child.
Wow. It's still my dream. I'm still gunning for it one day. Someone will invite me to the Olympics for something. Leah, we'll see what happens. But I love horses. And one day when I have a little more time, I'm getting back into that, because there's nothing quite like the feeling of just like taking you and a 1,000-pound animal, just being in sync, just cantering around. Oh my God, the best, right? It's the best. You just mentioned this, but so is it true you first started training for MMA after your first child at 18?
Yeah, so I had Isabella when I was very young. I was working like 3 jobs. After I had her, I was working like 3 jobs, and I needed to do something for myself. So I started training in an MMA gym, and so I was used to doing the grappling side, like the the judo. So I wanted to learn how to strike. I learned Muay Thai, I learned boxing, and kind of I definitely feel like God put me away from horses and put me down this path for a reason. And I won the Amateur World Championships in Las Vegas in 2016, and the European World Championships, and then I turned professional. It's kind of just went from there.
Wow. So how old is your daughter now?
She's 13.
Wow. So what is this like for her? Is she doing any sort of training as well? Because I'll tell you, my kids are 4 and 6, and they do jujitsu. They do
Oh
Brazilian
yeah,
jiu-jitsu. Yeah, and they do it. And I know that's kind of like another gateway into like the
yeah.
MMA world. Yeah, it gives you like a great foundation. But they do it multiple days a week, like 3 or 4 days a week. And my
That is
daughter,
so
who's four
good.
and a half, yeah, she does it too. So what's happening with your daughter?
So I'm actually a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and I
Wow.
like drag her to some of the classes, but she does like it. But she's more of a musician. She plays the guitar. She's like loves like different like tennis. Like she loves watching me, and like this has been her life. My whole life has been fighting, and she's always like she's traveled the world with me. She's been to LA, Thailand, New York, everywhere I go, she goes. So she's kind of just used to it, but she's not into fighting the way I am. She's very musical and calm and collected. I'm a bit different.
Well, that's okay. You got all of those genes. It sounds like you took enough. But it's always interesting to me whenever I talk to professional athletes. I'm always curious about their kids and what their kids ultimately end up doing. And obviously, your daughter's 13. That's old enough to kind of know the things that you're into. But I feel like there's always a fine line with kids, and it's that you want to lead your kids down a path where they, of course, embrace something that's
Yeah.
meaningful to them. But I think secretly as parents, a lot of us are like, oh, if my child could follow in my footsteps. Did you ever think about that with her?
I think more from like not like a competitive or like pushy way. I would love her to learn martial arts. I think like especially for women, martial arts and learning some form of martial arts is the best. Is what you should do. It's not always going to defend you. It is a form of self-defense, and knowing a little bit of self-defense is better than knowing nothing. So I think that it's great for women to learn, some aspects of MMA. But yeah, I'm definitely going to push her more into it. She's a little bit older now. She does love it, but she just doesn't love me teaching it. 'Cause I'm her mum.
Yeah, is that scary for her? Does she get worried about you getting hurt, or what do you hear from her?
So she's never came to one of my fights. She came to the one when I headlined in Dublin, the Three Arena, because it was quite a big occasion. But I just thought it was just too young for her to come. It's a bit a lot. They don't the kids don't really understand it, especially if it's their mum fighting. So she loves.
Yeah.
She's like my biggest supporter. She loves watching me, but she is also like a bit embarrassed by me. Like I'm not joking. My last fight, my poster was on her school bus, and she was like, "Mom, come with us."
Oh
I
my
was like,
gosh.
what is this? I know.
Wow. Well, my kids can appreciate that too, because you turn on the TV, you never know if who from our family, Leah's gonna show up there, and it's kind of funny
Yeah,
because
you got it worse than me.
yeah, I'm like, I wonder if they think this is just like how it is for everybody's parents, if they're just like on TV or, oh, there's grandpa or whatever. They're not really old enough to, yeah, to like fully appreciate it all. But it's interesting because I know we get to that point, right, where our kids are like kind of like, Mom, leave us alone. Like, you're not
Yeah,
cool anymore. I'm just waiting for it, Leah. How
yeah.
much longer do I have with my 4 and 6 year old
Well,
before they're embarrassed?
Isabella's never thought I was cool, so you're lucky that Jones are ready.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Well, it happens. It happens to all of us. That's for sure. What is parenting like for you though? Because I feel like we live in a tough time, at least as far as
Oh,
I'm aware, and what I've experienced in my short time as my
yeah.
6.5 years as a mom. It's a tough time to parent
Mhm.
kids right now. There's a lot of technology. Kids, I feel like grow up so much faster right now.
Yeah.
How has it been? How's it been for you as a parent?
I totally understand, and it is a scary place at the minute. The world is like, I am so glad I wasn't born in this day and age because it's
Yeah.
just crazy. I think I have been particularly wary of that with Isabella because I am, educated on what's going on in social media in the world. And I am very protective of her. She does go to like a country school, and she's quite sheltered. We're in Ireland, and it's not quite as bad as the rest of the world. But like I do have things like, she's not allowed social media. She's not. I have like an app called Parent Link where any apps that I have to approve apps that she's downloads, like stuff like that. But even I don't even like her having a phone, but I need to communicate with her. But it is
Yeah.
it is scary, definitely.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like every era, parents are like, "Oh, this is so much harder than the last one." But
Mhm.
things have progressed so much
Mhm.
since I was a kid to today that there's a lot to catch up on. I feel like these kids with texting have their own code, and obviously neither of my kids have a phone, but
Yes.
I'm like, God, by the time they get a phone, I'm going to be like way out of my league. I'm going to have
I
no
know.
idea what's
I
going
know.
on.
It's just like even before I got this app, I had noticed there was a thing called Chat GPT. There's like AI
Oh
chatbots that
yeah.
can talk to
Yeah.
you. I was like, what is this? Like, I just lost my mind. I had to bring her phone to a phone shop and was like, I don't even understand what this is. I was like, who are these? Like, what is this designed for? Why are children? Why are these weird bots talking to children? It just doesn't make any sense. Like, I had to
Yeah.
educate myself quite quickly because obviously that was not around when we were kids, and just with everything to do with social media and the influences, and it's just scary. And I never wanted to have social media ever.
I know, I know. I feel like we all do the best we can, and we are going to have to get to some point where obviously it's a part of everybody's life now. You have to come to some point where you realize like your kid will probably be on social media. I just get worried, you see it used to be physical bullying, and as an
Mhm.
MMA fighter, obviously you can appreciate this a lot. It used to be that physical bullying in person was the thing, and now it seems like it's gone online, and you can't escape it when you go home. The kids don't escape it
Totally.
because they're on their phones, they're on their tablets, they're always engaging with the other kids from school. So it's crazy stuff and scary stuff, but I think the good news is that whenever you have a strong parent, whenever
Hmm.
you teach your kids to respect themselves and to be proud of themselves and what they do and comfortable in their own skin, maybe that's the best thing we can ultimately do for them. And obviously it sounds like
Yeah.
your daughter is immersed in music, which I think is a great thing, right? She's got her thing she's into.
Yeah, and I think I'm very conscious of how I conduct myself as well, because I have a child. I have little nieces, or like my sister fosters, and I want them not to think to behave or act a certain way is normal. So I think Isabella's lucky she's surrounded by such strong female women who have like good morals and still have a moral compass in this day and age,
Yeah.
and they respect themselves. And she's such a great, like, I actually am really blessed. She's so kind and caring, and
Oh,
like a rarity. She really is. I'm thank goodness. I don't know what I would do.
oh, I love, well, good. That's good news. She's
Yeah.
got a good role model in her mom. That is for sure. All right, nobody move. We're going to take a quick commercial break. We'll be right back on the other side of it. I'm going to tell you about one of our sponsors, Swiss America. Our country's facing so many problems these days under Joe Biden. The last thing any of us need is more to worry about. Unfortunately, we now have to fear losing our freedom and privacy with the Democrats' new push for a digital dollar that could allow the government to tell us what we can and cannot buy with our own hard-earned money. That's why I'm encouraging every one of you tuning into the show right now to get The Secret War on Cash, an insightful report created by my friends at Swiss America. With this report, you'll learn how to protect yourself from the threats facing our freedom and your hard-earned money. The report is available right now to my listeners free of charge. Just call 800-289-2646 or visit www.swissamerica.com/Trump for your free report. All right, you might have heard Mike Lindell and MyPillow no longer have the support of their box stores or shopping channels the way they used to. They've been a part of this cancel culture, and so they want to say thank you by passing the savings directly to you with a $25 extravaganza. When Mike started MyPillow, it was just a one-product company. With the help of his dedicated employees, they now have hundreds of products, some you may not even know about. To get the word out, I want to invite my listeners to check out their $25 extravaganza. 2-pack multi-use My Pillows, just $25. My Pillow sandals, $25. Their 6-pack towel sets, $25. Brand new 4-pack dish towels, you guessed it, just $25. For the first time ever, the premium My Pillows with all new Giza fabric, just $25. Orders over $75 will receive free shipping as well. This amazing offer won't last long, so go to mypillow.com and use promo code TRUMP or call 800-624-3945 today. All right, Leah. So obviously, we've seen a lot in recent years about men competing in women's sports. It's a hot
Yeah.
button issue. Seems like certain organizations are starting to ban it entirely, but it still seems like a bit of a slow process. Is this something you've ever encountered as a female athlete? And would you even consider entering the octagon against a male athlete?
Do you know, I just can't even believe that this is a conversation. I can't believe that that we have to talk about this as female athletes, that we compete against men. I just don't think anybody sound of mind would ever agree or think that that would be normal. I think if this continues to happen, it'll be the elimination of women's sports.
Yeah.
I know more than anybody because I am a female MMA athlete. I have no female training partners. So when I go in the gym and I train with men, the exact same weight, the same experience, they have to totally alter how they train with me to protect me as a female. They have to do, it's a physical sport. So I know firsthand about the speed difference, strength, the athleticism, the explosiveness. Like there's so many aspects that go into it, and I have to really trust my male training partners to look after me when I'm training, but to push me hard. And just the thought of that, like a male MMA fighter the same way as a female MMA fighter, if they fought, say one of the UFC guys or Bellator guys just decided, oh, I want to compete in the female category now, it's just madness, it's insanity.
Well, yeah, because honestly, in your sport, Leah, someone could die. I mean, there is a real risk of significant harm or death to someone if you are severely overpowered by another person in the octagon, right? Like this is not a joke. No. And there's so many reasons that it makes no sense, right? Obviously the fairness aspect of it, number one, but the safety is a huge part of this. And we've seen situations certainly across the United States where you have female athletes, you know, these are girls in school who are competing against a team that may have a male athlete. I think there was a lacrosse incident very recently. There've been a whole host of other situations where these girls are injured because the male athletes are just so much more powerful than they are. They have different muscle mass, they have different bone structure, their bodies are composed very differently. And it seems crazy, Leah, that we're even talking about this.
Yeah.
And I think you and I are probably on the same page. It pains me to say that because I'm the first person that's like, I can do anything a guy can do. And yeah, I can, but we have to admit that we are different and that there is a safety component as well.
Yeah, I think that's like the key. Like men and women are completely different. I think I actually, it still boggles my mind that the people or schools are allowing this to happen and they're not protecting women, not protecting women's sports, and that like if it does continue, it's just a mockery. It's like what's going to happen to female athletes? It's a joke.
Yeah, it's crazy stuff. It's very interesting though that you say that you actually, the way you train, there are no women to train with you. And so you train with men, but you're right when you say you have to really trust them because if they're not careful, I mean, you could really end up very hurt. There could be a major issue with that. So that's really, you are a testament to exactly why this doesn't work. And I would assume that if someone asked you, would you ever compete against a man in a real fight, you would probably say no.
And I don't think anybody would ever ask me. I think the MMA communities are behind this as a whole. It's just absurd that it's even, and it's just taken so many opportunities away from women. I've seen, and I do think it's more so in America. I haven't really seen much of it in the UK and Ireland, and I really hope it doesn't come across here because it's like our daughters, like what's the future for our daughters if it's going to be like this? And where are the men that are stopping this, or the men that are allowing this to happen in schools? It's just insane.
So it's interesting. You're right. I think it's a very American issue right now. What's the view? I mean, I would have to think that people on the other side of the pond, as we say, are probably like, what? Like, is everybody like, what's going on in America right now?
Yeah, I think so. It's like you go on Twitter and you're like, this isn't real. I was like, this can't be happening. And I spent a lot of time in America. Like I was there maybe 4 or 5 times last year. I fight there. I do spend times in LA, Vegas. I'm there a lot, and it's like to think that that's happening in the schools there. It's just like it blows our mind. We can't understand how it's being allowed, and in so many like how can so many people think this is okay? Because whenever I speak to, I've never met anybody that thinks that men should compete in women's sports. I've never spoke to someone that should think that. There obviously is like another agenda at play.
Yeah, I think it's interesting because a lot of us here in the States think it's really crazy, and to hear that at least we're not alone in that feeling is somewhat sickly comforting, Leah. I'll say that. So when is your next fight? What's on the agenda for you? How are you feeling? What's going on?
So I won my last fight in San Diego in October. I was meant to be fighting for the world title in March, but that fight didn't go ahead. I broke my rib and tore my
Oh.
oblique. I should be fighting Chris Cyborg next for the title, the Bellator world title. But I'm currently in recovery. I'm doing rehab and I'm aiming to fight in September time. So just waiting to see what opponent comes up. It's probably going to be in London. I'm not sure, but I'm just really focusing on getting back to full health at the minute. I fly to Thailand on Saturday for 3 weeks to train, so I can't wait for sun because it's raining so bad here in Ireland.
Oh, well, listen, the next time you come over to the US, if you make your way down to Florida, it's very sunny here. That's where I am right now.
I'll come visit you.
Yes, come visit us. Come check it out down here. We try to keep the men out of the women's sports down here, at least to an extent in the state of Florida. So we can look forward to something hopefully then in the fall from you. Is that right?
Yeah, I want to finish the year big. I've had a lot of setbacks this year so far, so I definitely want to get back and finish the year with a bang.
Well, we're watching. You're awesome. Where can people follow you, find out more about what you have going on if they want to?
Yeah, you can just follow Leah McCourt MMA on Instagram and Twitter.
All right. Well, Leah McCourt, you are, I mean, like I said it at the beginning, you're badass, you're amazing, you're a mom, you're a former equestrian. Maybe we can get you some sort of like Benadryl or something, and you and I can go for a ride sometime. I would love that. But very cool. We'll keep up with everything you have going on, and the best of luck to you. Thank you for joining us here tonight.
Thanks.
All right. Thanks, Leah. And to everybody at home, as always, make sure you like, subscribe, share, and follow. We'll see you back here next time for more of The Right View.
And I won't back down. Hey, baby, there ain't no easy way out.
Nothing is worse than being on a phone call that drops. Nothing is worse than trying to text someone and you can't reach them because your phone is out of service range. And nothing is worse than supporting these major corporations and companies who don't support us. That is why I love Patriot Mobile. They are America's only Christian conservative wireless network. They use every cell tower out there available to all networks so that they have the greatest 4G and 5G coverage nationwide. And they support the causes that are important to us as conservatives. If you go today to patriotmobile.com/Lara Trump and use the promo code Trump, you will get free activation today. Again, that is patriotmobile.com/Lara Trump. The promo code is Trump for free activation so that you can get a great cell plan and feel good about doing it.